Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with ChrisChamasiros. We got a few stories in today's show, some very interesting stories. President Trump, he's going to sue the IRS for billions of dollars for the IRS releasing his personal information. A lot of people are concerned that Tom Brady might be snubbed from getting into the Hall of Fame because look what happened to Bill Belichick. We'll get into that. Also, young people are now smell-maxing. There's this new thing out there, look-maxing and smell-maxing. They call him clavicular, like your collarbone, he said. He is the king of looks-maxing and smell-maxing. I mean, that's nothing new. When I was in 6th grade, I wore cologne. I remember the cologne back then was Eternity for Men, and I used to basically bathe in it every day before school. This new style. What's funny about that is the shift in styles. This whole baggy pants thing. You know, when I was a kid, regardless of what race you were, nobody wore baggy pants like that. Nobody wore pants where you could see each other's underwear and that type of garbage. There was no pink hair, purple hair. There was no earrings in the face. There was none of that bullshit. None of it at all. Everybody everybody took pride in the way they dressed, the way they looked, their smell, their cologne. So I guess this is coming back around, and I don't think I think it's actually a good thing. I think it's actually making teenagers more aware that they should have a more professional look. And you're probably going to say, look at your hair, talk about professional. You got long hair, but you get the point. You get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So let's jump into some of these articles. Of course, every time I go live, the article shift changes. It's like they were one way when I looked them up, and now that I go live and try to bring it up, it completely changes around. So just give me a second. Vince Wilfork, he's worried. If for anybody that doesn't know, Vince Wilfork was a defensive lineman with Tom Brady for a lot of years in New England Patriots. They won multiple Super Bowls together. Vince Wilfork worries Hall of Fame could snub Tom Brady after Bill Belichick. Vince Wilfork's reservations with the Pro Bowl Hall of Fame go beyond this year's omission of former New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick. Wilfork played for Belichick in New England for 11 years, from 2004 to 2014. The four-time All-Pro defensive tackle won 2 Super Bowls, with the latter in 2004 and 2014. Wilfork was also teammates with 3-time AP NFL MVP Tom Brady for all those years. Excuse me. According to Mass Live Sports' Karen Karigian, on Thursday, Wilfork became the latest player to criticize the Hall for not voting Belichick in, but took things a step further by questioning whether or not Brady will be a first ballot entrant, due in part to a pair of well-documented controversies. You can't have one set of rules for one set of guys and another for another set. Are we talking about something personal, or are we going to keep it to the facts? So now I'm wondering, are they going to do the same thing with Tom Brady? Let's not play that game, Wilfork said. This was the first year that Belichick was eligible to enter the Hall of Fame, Spygate as well as Deflategate. The 2 controversies in question that took place in 2007, as well as from 2016 to 17, respectively, were labeled as reasons why the 3-time AP NFL Coach of the Year was forced to wait at least a year to see Canton. The scandals will also be associated with Brady when his name gets called for consideration. Now, here's the problem that I have with the Deflategate thing. Multiple quarterbacks have came out and said that before games, they would go to the referees and tell them like how they wanted the balls. Extra flat, extra deflated, more air. There was no real rule committee on this, or no real rules in the NFL till after Deflategate. And I thought that Tom Brady's suspension was just complete nonsense. And I'm not a Patriots fan by any stretch of the imagination, as you can tell. But what did Tom Brady do after that suspension? He comes out and he wins another Super Bowl. So, I mean, it's getting just told. I know one doesn't have anything to do with the other, but you saw Shedeur Sanders. He's now in the Pro Bowl, and you want to keep Bill Belichick out of the Hall of Fame and Tom Brady out of the Hall. Now, Bill Belichick, to me, he kind of brought that upon himself. I said this the other day. coaches are always trying to steal signs, but the stuff that Bill was doing, that was like some real CIA counter mission intelligence type stuff. That was literally a military operation. You know, renting a hotel room 300 yards away from somebody practicing and using binoculars to steal plays. I mean, he really took it too far. So, I mean, do I think that Tom Brady? Of course, Tom Brady deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Should he be a first team Hall of Absolutely. I mean, I see Wilfork's concern. But again, is there any? I mean, everybody's just the voters are taking this upon themselves with their own morality. Is it a rule that if you get caught cheating or whatever, you can't go to the Hall of Fame? I mean, look how many players have got caught taking steroids. Did that stop them from getting into the Hall of Fame? So again, Bill Belichick brought this upon himself, but I hope they don't take it on Brady. And I'm not a Brady fan at all. He's absolutely destroyed my team on many occasions, and I didn't appreciate it, but it is exactly what it is. So let's get to the Smellmaxxing. This is interesting. Young people are Smellmaxxing. Come on, where's the article? Never wants to come up when you need it. Before you set it up, every time you go live, it changes like all the articles the way you had it set up. All right, Smellmaxxing. Hold on, let me type it in. You believe this? Young boys were Smellmaxxing. I mean, when you're young, aren't you supposed to be like playing football and getting your knees scabbed up? I mean, I don't have a problem with hygiene, but anybody in the chat? Oh, here we go. Smellmaxxing. The sillage on this goes hard. I overheard while deep in a sniffing spiral in the fragrance section of Sephora. I still prefer Haltane, someone else said. Anyone familiar with the world of niche fragrance knows Haltane as a crowd favorite odd scent. I tore myself away from my blotter strips and realized that these words were coming out of the mouths of two teenage boys. One in a Nike Tech sweatsuit, Footlocker bag in hand, and the other in a Fear of God Essentials hoodie with a mango ice vape dangling from his mouth. So when the teenage boys casually dropped the word sillage in conversation, I was floored. They looked like the type of boys who would have asked me why I talked like a girl in high school, and yet were speaking the same language. Take a trip to your local Zoomies, and you'll notice that amid a sea of Stussy shirts and Carhartt cargos, there are notes of out white musk and mint lingering in the air. Young boys don't want just Supreme anymore. They want Santel. One survey found that fragrance spending among teen boys jumped from 26% in 2024. The boys are getting serious about scent. Welcome to the era of Smellmaxxing. To be a Smellmaxxer is to treat fragrance as more of a competitive sport than a grooming habit. In other words, your sillage is your scoreboard. It's a movement largely fueled by teenage boys on TikTok, and it follows a larger trend of trying to max out your real life avatar. Looks maxing, frame maxing, even carb maxing. In the eyes of the smell maxers, your signature scent is just what you smell like. It's a vibe, a status, and a symbol of social capital. It's pretty funny. I'm not going to read anymore, but hey, I think this is actually a good thing for young people. I'm glad that they're in tune with trying to smell good and they're taking pride in their appearance. And, I don't think that they should be getting reconstructive facial surgeries and double chin implants. Listen, just work. My advice to any young person, there's nothing wrong with you. All these commercials, TV, music, it's all done to make you feel inferior. It's all done to make you feel inadequate. It's all done to make you feel like you're not enough. And they're doing that to you. They're brainwashing you to feel like that because they want you to buy stuff, because they'll claim like, oh, you're inferior, but if you buy this, you'll feel better about yourself. And you never feel better about yourself. So take it for what it's worth. Just buy the cologne if you want to smell good. Again, when I was in the 6th grade, I remember I used to go through bottles of Eternity for Men and Jakar like crazy because I would do the 4 squirts every morning before school. But I'm glad that young people are paying attention to the way they smell. Anything's better than seeing you walk down the street with green hair and your underwear hanging out and you look like a total idiot. Let's move on to the next story. Trump sues IRS, Treasury Department for $10 billion over a tax return leak. U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday sued the Internal Revenue Service and Treasury Department for $10 billion over the disclosure of his tax returns to the media in 2019 and 2020. In a complaint filed in Miami federal court, Trump, his adult sons, and his namesake company said the agencies failed to take mandatory precautions to prevent former IRS contractor Charles Littlejohn from leaking their tax returns to leftist media outlets, including the New York Times and ProPublica. Defendants have caused plaintiffs reputational and financial harm, public embarrassment, unfairly tarnished their business reputations, portrayed them in a false light, and negatively affected President Trump and the other plaintiffs' public standing, the complaint said. You know, it's just, you have a bunch of liberal lunatics and maniacs that have no respect for the President of the United States. They have no respect for law enforcement. They think that none of the rules and none of the laws of this country apply to them. They'll fight tooth and nail for illegals. They'll lose their life for illegals and criminals and anybody that's not American, they will fight. Could you imagine if Democrats and liberals fought as hard for the working class citizens in this country as they do for illegals? Can you imagine how much better our country would be? It's like a lot of people, they criticize Benjamin Netanyahu. And I have a lot to say about him too. But I'll tell you what, he goes hard for his people, doesn't he? You can't say he doesn't go hard for his people. He'll literally nuke the universe for his people. So there is some admiration there. You know, that's what real leadership does. Real leadership looks out for their people and puts their people first. And when I say their people, your people, my people, I'm talking about Americans. I'm not just talking about one race of people. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, if you're born in America, you're American. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, or Jewish, you're born in America, you should be proud to be American. We should be Americans. And that's what I'm talking about. And you have to respect Benjamin Netanyahu for that. You know, he will go to no lengths for his people. He will do anything to, you know, move forward in the power of Israel, his country, and his people, and he won't let anything stop him. And in that regard, I do respect him as a leader because that's what American leaders should be doing. That's what President Trump should be doing, not putting Israel first. That's what these Democratic politicians should be doing, fighting for us, whether you're Republican or Democrat, but they don't. They put everything else first. And getting back to, you know, the story's about the IRS. I know I'm going a little bit off course here, but it just shows you how these Democratic liberal lunatics, you know, there's no reason why President Trump's information needs to be leaked to the public. And they just think that the laws don't apply to them and there's never any consequences. And that's why they keep exhibiting this type of shitty behavior. It's just sickening already. It really is. Rob Schneider, the comedian. Rob Schneider, Patricia Azakoya break up after 15 years of marriage. I mean, I didn't even know he was married, but whatever. Patricia, 37, originally filed her petition to divorce on December 8th, 2025 with Rob, 62. Oh, well, there you go. Hopefully you signed the let me tell you something. If you're a rich man, you're not even rich. You don't even have to be rich. If you're a guy that has a job and you worked your ass off your whole life, you know, to drive your $50,000 car and you got a $300,000 house and you don't get a prenup in today's day and age, and you're just a dude that makes like 80 grand a year, you're a effing moron. You're a clown. Like, unless you have children, if you want to marry a woman and she wants to marry you and that marriage dissolves, she shouldn't be able to take, you know, 50 to 80% of your assets because she did you a favor by marrying you. And this is the attitude a lot of these women have. Look, you can never get out of paying for child support, and I'm not promoting that anyway. If you make kids, you got to take care of them. But This whole narrative where, especially rich guy, I don't understand how any rich man in America doesn't have a prenuptial agreement. You're just a sucker, you're a moron, and you're a clown. And when you get taken to the cleaners, you deserve it. And if the woman tells you, well, I'm not signing that, then you should, okay, I'm not marrying you. So you got to risk your entire livelihood, everything that you worked your ass off for. And meanwhile, most of these rich guys, they have wives that don't work, they don't cook, they don't clean, they don't do anything but bitch, moan, and complain and spend money. And that's all they do. And then when the divorce comes, this is what makes me laugh about a lot of women. They'll be like, you need to provide for me. You're not making enough money. This $100,000 a year is just not enough. And then, the guy starts working 80 hours a week, and then she starts cheating on him. And then the excuse is, well, you're never here for me. I'm lonely. And then the divorce kicks in, and then this person that you've been taking care of, like a freeloader who hasn't worked a day since she's met you, now she gets to take 80% of your assets. And by the way, if it's over 10 years, now you have to pay her the rest of your life. If you agree to this as a man, you're an effing moron. You're a tool bag. You're a cuck. You deserve whatever you get. I don't care if you make $50,000 a year. It's a business arrangement. Before you sit down to get married, you need to work these things out so you can survive when the marriage is over and you're not living out of the back of your car. I'm sure Rob Schneider's going to get taken for a ride, with this 37-year-old wait, hold on. After 15 years of, wait, hold on. Whoop, time out. Let me give myself a timeout. She's 30. She's 37. The couple have separated after 15 years of marriage. She's 37. So 37 minus 15 is 20. He met her when she was 22 years old. He was like in his 40s, late 40s. He was close to 50 and she was 22. Oh, yeah. Let me guess. She was just so in love, right? Okay. Whatever, man. You better sign the prenup. You better have signed the prenup or you deserve whatever you get, my man. You really do. Here, another interesting art. I hope this isn't true. President Trump says he wants to drive housing prices up, not down. Oh, yeah, just what Americans can afford. Amid growing affordability concerns across the nation, President Donald Trump said he is looking to drive housing prices further up, not down. Trump said at a January 29th cabinet meeting he wants to make it easier for Americans to buy homes, but not by making houses less expensive. Instead, he's suggesting lowering interest rates he expects from his upcoming pick to lead the Federal Reserve will allow more Americans to buy homes, even as housing prices arise. I don't want to drive housing prices down. I want to drive housing prices up for people that own their homes, Trump said. And they can be assured that's what's going to happen. I mean, I guess he doesn't want the property value of their homes. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe he just doesn't want the value of their homes going down. I mean, I don't know, President Trump, the amount of taxes that everybody pays, the amount of money that gets sent, you send trillions of dollars to other countries, trillions. The amount of money that the United States of America sends out to other countries, if he really wanted to help the American taxpayer, he could pay your mortgage for you for like 10 years. Every person in America that owns a home, he could literally, the amount of money we spend sending to Ukraine, sending all over the world, Israel, the amount of money that we send to these places, the government could literally pay your mortgage for 10 years. So how about you do something like that? How about all the homeowners in America, you give them a break from paying their mortgage and you pay it for them through the government? Or you give them, or you give first-time home buyers, instead of giving them $9,000 measly dollars in the first-time home buyers program, maybe you could put the down payment down of $150,000 for first-time home buyers. And you're like, where do you get these numbers from? Those numbers are ridiculous. Okay, all I want you to do is add up all the money that President Trump in the United States of America sends to other countries, divide it up by every person in America, and you'll see how much money that the United States government could give us all if they really chose to. It's absolutely ridiculous. So no big deal. We'll just drive up the prices again for stupid Americans that voted for me. Hey, Olympian Dallas native Sha'Carri Richardson arrested on dangerous speeding charge in Florida. Oh, yeah. Oh, you mean the narcissist here? What was she doing now? Olympic gold medalist and Dallas native Sha'Carri Richardson was arrested early Thursday after authorities say she was driving more than 100 miles per hour and weaving through traffic on Central Florida Highway. According to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, a deputy on patrol pulled over a vehicle, along State Road 429 near Stony Brook Parkway. Deputies said the driver was traveling 104 miles per hour, dangerously tailgating other vehicles and moving across lanes of travel to pass other vehicles. You know what? She should have been arrested on the spot, this piece of garbage. And you know what? If she killed somebody, she wouldn't give one single shit. I really can't stand her. I do follow track, and her attitude, like towards the reporters, especially if they're white reporters, the way she like treats it, she has no class. She's a piece of garbage. She's a total narcissist. And am I really surprised that she's weaving in and out of traffic, doing 105 miles an hour on the phone, bumper to bumper, ready to kill an older person that probably went to Florida to retire? Am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised at all. So she's just a piece of garbage. She'll be a piece of garbage her whole life. Can't stand her. Of course, she's another Democratic hero. Another liberal hero. Jason Kelsey. Let's see what he's done. Jason Kelsey to end partnership with ESPN days after announcing new broadcasting move, report. I like Jason a lot more than I like Travis. I don't like Travis at all. I like Jason. Following his retirement from professional football in March 2024, Jason Kelsey transitioned from a legendary 13-year career with the Philadelphia Eagles into a burgeoning media powerhouse, while his charisma quickly made him a fixture in broadcasting. I wouldn't go that far, but whatever. His most ambitious solo venture was the ESPN late night variety program. They call it Late Night with Jason Kelsey. The show, which debuted during the 2025 season, blended traditional football analysis with sketchy comedy and celebrity interviews, all filmed in front of a live audience. I've never seen it, honestly. While the series possessed a certain unique charm, recent reports confirm that Jason Kelsey and ESPN have mutually agreed to end their partnership in the project and will not move forward with the second season in 2026. You know why I find this hilarious? You got clowns like racist Ryan Clark who have single-handedly destroyed ESPN, and he's made it unwatchable. Stephen A. Smith, Cam Newton, they've made it unwatchable. Now, I've never tuned in, so I can't lie and say it was a good show because I don't know. But you notice that they'll never lose their jobs, right? Totally have destroyed ESPN. People don't watch it anymore. It's just total garbage, but they won't get fired. They'll keep getting their contract renewed for 100 years, but hey, I wouldn't expect anything else from woke garbage dumpster ESPN. And I can't wait till the Super Bowl with Bad Bunny. When this piece of garbage comes out, he's going to be dressed like a woman with high heels. And the song he's going to sing it's not going to be sung in one word of English. And Roger Goodell is going to call you the bad one. And ESPN is going to call you the bad one if you have a problem with it. You're the racist. There's something wrong with you if you got a problem with Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl while your kids are watching a grown man in a dress and high heels. But hey, would you expect anything different in 2026? I think I keep saying 2025 by accident. You got to excuse me. But would you expect anything different? Let's move on to Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly mocks Eva Longoria's accent, blasts celebs who don't give a shit about migrant crime. They only now are getting activated because it's super fun to say you hate ICE. Trump's boogeyman, the conservative podcaster, said. Exactly. Megyn Kelly mocked Eva Longoria's accent while blasting celebrities she claimed are dismissing crimes committed by migrants because they're too rich to actually care. We have a whole host of celebrities weighing in on their most dramatic fashion they can, weighing in the most dramatic fashion they can. They're completely hypocritical and they don't give two shits about the children of America, Kelly said. During an episode of the Megyn Kelly podcast on Thursday, which was titled Ignorant Celebs Like Olivia Wilde and Jane Fonda Have Terrible ICE Takes, but ignore migrant crimes. She continued, they do not care about the rape victims, molestation victims, DWI victims, of all whom have died or been severely hurt by illegal immigrants in the country. They never post a video for them. They never shed a tear for them. They only now are getting activated because it's super fun to say you hate ICE, Trump's boogeyman. I mean, it's absolutely right. Does anybody care about the victims of illegal aliens crime? No, they don't. Especially celebrities. Celebrities are pieces of these actors and actresses. You are the reason why nobody gives a shit anymore about movies. That's why everybody watches Netflix. I mean, when Tom Cruise makes a movie, I still go see it. I do like Ben Affleck, even though we're really on a different political spectrum. But the one thing that I respect about Ben, he doesn't really bring his politics to his work. So I do like his movies. I love Tom Cruise. He's my favorite. So, but like people like that, I will still go see and watch. But Eva Longoria, like anybody gives a shit what you have to say, Eva. Didn't you just marry like 110-year-old dude? Because you need to, you got to have your sugar daddy. Oh, you know what? I want to talk about Erica Kirk. This video comes out of Erica Kirk talking to her staff, and it's just like this. She is one of the. It's so obvious what's going on with Erica Kirk. Erica Kirk she was not Charlie's wife. She was his handler. And I mean, she's bragging about how much money Turning Point USA made off Charlie's death and the merchandise that she's selling, and how her children not having a father is not traumatic to her. She did not give one single shit about Charlie Kirk. Let me bring up the video. She's just disgusting, man. She has some of the worst energy. But I mean, she's as bad as Hillary Clinton. She really is. I think she's worse.
We have got to the point where literally
I'm going to pull this up. Give me a minute.
Fully working app without knowing how to code. This is
motorcycle stop.
Everybody, I still love.
All right, here we go. It's starting. I mean, if you wanted to ever hear how demented and evil Erica Kirk is, and how it's just, she was placed by Israel at the wall. The story, according to Erica Kirk, she was in Israel, and Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk's love story started in Israel by the wall. She didn't know who he was. Yeah, sure you didn't, Erica. And she was his handler. She was gathering information. She was doing an op on Charlie, and Charlie wasn't smart enough to figure it out. She was doing intelligence on Charlie, and that's why Charlie's no longer here.
Hi, everybody. I still love all these emoji Zoom things. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. The fact that we were able to pull off an event of a century, like, it's just insane.
She calls Charlie's assassination and his funeral the event of the century. Yeah, it's an event. It's a spectacle, all right. You pulled it off, huh? Yeah, you definitely pulled it off. You and the Israeli intelligence, you killed them right before our eyes, and there ain't shit the American government's going to do about it, Erica. Yeah, you pulled it off.
We had over 275,000 people that attended, and stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, is it 100 million? You guys that heard the gospel and all about Charlie and all about everything.
Don't you love how she goes in and out, right? The Bible always tells you can't love God and money. It's true. Like, either you love God and money's we all know that money's important. I don't love money. Like, me personally, I don't love money, but I know in order to have a good life in America, it's very necessary. Does it control me? No. Trust me, it doesn't. All right, I've turned down a couple opportunities for money, but I got to look at myself in the mirror and certain things. No, thank you. I'm good. But like, 1 minute she's talking about the money and the heist of a century and blah blah blah, and the next minute she's talking about the Lord. Yeah, you'd fit right in with all these Calvary pastors because they do the same garbage.
That you guys do, and the hard work of Turning Point USA is insane. We had thousands that were registered to vote. I think we're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping.
She's talking about merch sales at Charlie's funeral. And really, Erica, wonderful.
Up like crazy, but I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the events team, the development team, the graphic design team, the production team. It's just phenomenal. Their incredible work leading into the memorial. And honestly, a lot of the staff that worked on the memorial, they had 20-hour days for a week during the time of us grieving the loss of my husband. And honestly,
Erica, you weren't grieving. There was you didn't the fake tears. Do you think we didn't see the video before you walking on stage? You were filling your eyes with drops so you'd have fake tears rolling down your face. So, like you did. It's just so obvious that you didn't give one single shit about your so-called husband, Charlie Kirk.
I know several staff that didn't even sleep. Again, you guys are breathing angels, and I'm so grateful for all of you. And obviously a huge thank you to the Mosaic team. VI, you guys are 10 out of 10. Like we have the most incredible team. We just do. And you guys know that, and you guys are all a part of that. And I am so thankful. And if you do have a moment and you run into any of those staff members that you know had a role in this, and that they put a lot of their time and effort into it, just say thank you. There's something really special to be seen in moments like this, and it's not easy. I'm speaking from experience. I'm right in the trenches with you guys. And so the fact that you just, a simple thank you. I don't care if any of you have beef with each other from the past or have any issues with someone said something about this or that. Like, if you guys have any of that, please put it to rest. My husband's dead. Like, I'm not trying to be morbid, but he's dead. And it puts life into perspective of how short life is. And
yeah, it's putting everything into perspective. That's why all you're talking about is selling merchandise and taking pictures in the tent that your husband was killed in, right? It's putting the money in perspective, right, Erica?
Relationships, and God puts people in your life for a reason, and it teaches you a lesson, it teaches them a lesson. So if you are going through a time where, just lay it to rest, and we are moving forward, Turning Point USA 2.0 with Charlie in our hearts, and that's what he would want.
And I go to bed at like midnight or sometimes even later. And then when we are here in Tulsa together, we don't go to bed for the first night until like 3-ish because we stay up talking because it's like a slumber party.
Right. You're catching up with your best friend and then she's on California time and then it's usually
to Charlie and it's like 2 a.m. and I'd be like, we're having a sleepover. Like, this is really cool. I have a sleepover for the rest of my life with my best friend. Like, there's just like this hyper obsession. I'm still heavily obsessed with my husband. I always will be.
Oh God, Erica, please. All right, Gargamel, just knock it off. The excuse is she copes differently. Yeah, she's coping as she's counting millions and millions of dollars and then bragging about it online. And videos are being leaked and audio is being leaked, making her look like the worst human being on the planet. But when you notice that and you talk about it, that means you're, according to Erica Kirk and according to all the Zionists, you're attacking the grieving widow. And how dare you? It's kind of like when Adam Sosnick went on the PBD podcast and was reading from the Torah. If you had something negative to say about Erica Kirk, meanwhile, every day of the week, women are bees and hoes, and he's this, and he's a pimp, and blah, blah, blah. What a day. The PBD podcast is just, Adam Sosnick has totally destroyed PBD's credibility, but hey, no big deal. Let me check out something else. I thought I had something else here to talk about. Oh, here we go. ICE shootings. What's changing in Minneapolis now that Trump has put Tom Homan in charge, and what's not? We're not surrendering, our mission at all. Homan said on Thursday, we're just doing it smarter. President Trump vowed earlier this week to de-escalate his administration's immigration crackdown a little bit after federal immigration agents shot and killed two U.S. citizens in Minneapolis during January enforcement operations, shootings that few Americans see as justified according to the latest polls. But the man Trump has now sent to Minnesota to run Operation Metro Surge, White House border czar Tom Homan, insisted on Thursday that we're not surrendering our mission at all. No, you're not going to surrender. Matter of fact, you need to triple down. We got 54 million illegal people in the country, and they shouldn't be here. And the reason why you're having all these protesters and agitators is because the Democratic Party is paying them because they don't want their voters to be deported, and they don't want you getting to the bottom of all the fraud that they're committing to fund their party. That's why. So you need to triple down. But the man Trump has now sent to Minnesota to run Operation Metro Surge, White House border czar Tom Homan, insisted on Thursday that we're not surrendering our mission at all. We're just doing it smarter, he said. So what does that mean? Is Trump's pivot in Minneapolis just a way to alter public perception without altering policy? And perhaps persuade Democrats in Congress to abandon their growing effort to shut down the government at midnight on Friday unless Republicans agree to rein in federal immigration authorities? Or will Minnesotans actually see some massive changes on the ground, as Tom Homan claimed on Thursday? Before Homeland Security Kristi Noem and former Border Patrol Commander Gregory Pavino, who was doing a good job, were leading the charge in Minnesota. They've both been sidelined now. Trump deemed the hard-charging Pavino a pretty out-there kind of guy and demoted him to his previous job in El Centro, California. He's expected to retire soon. Noem has clashed internally with Homan, is facing calls for resignation and impeachment. You know what, Trump? I really don't like how Trump pretty much threw Pavino under the bus. This is a difficult job, and you have a bunch of lunatics attacking ICE agents in the street who are armed, who are trying to impede them doing their job, who are hitting them with vehicles, blocking their way with vehicles. And idiot Democrats and liberals think that the ICE agents are the problem. And that's my biggest problem with Trump. He should have came out on TV and he should have said, listen, Democrats Joe Biden allowed 13 million illegals into the country. He caused this situation. Democrats caused this entire situation. Then they're stealing billions of dollars all over the country. Somalians in Minnesota, it's everywhere. It's not just Minnesota. And the reason why they don't want ICE there is because they're trying to protect the people that are committing the fraud also. So what does Trump do? He backpedals. I would have told him, I'm tripling down. You could do whatever law you want to write, whatever threat you want, no problem. I'll just executive order it. I'm the president for the next 3 years. I was voted in to get rid of the illegal problem, the situation. I'm so tired of hearing that Trump is only going to go after criminals. If you are in this country illegally, you are a criminal. Bottom, end of story. That's the bottom of the line. I don't want to hear it. You don't need to rob a 7-Eleven. You don't need to murder somebody. If you're here illegally, that's enough to be deported. And we need to stick to that. Instead of Trump backing down all the time, he needs to come out and say exactly what I said. We're the only country in the world that allows this type of garbage. If you're American, go to another country and say, hey, I need free healthcare. I need free housing. I need an EBT card. And then if you try to arrest me and deport me, I'm going to call you racist as I wave the American flag in your country. I'm so sick of it. I really am. And I'm sick of the way Trump has handled it. I don't think Trump has handled it well at all. Not because he's being too rough, because he hasn't deported enough people. That's why. If you're illegally in America, you should not be able to get a driver's license. You should not be able to work for a company. You shouldn't be going to college that the taxpayer pays for. We are all sick. Americans are sick of it. We can barely survive here. We can barely pay our bills. So you want to flood the country with 55 million illegals and they get everything for free while you tax me to death? And guess what? I'm sure there's 30 to 50 million other people that feel just like me. So, had it. Omar criticizes Trump hateful rhetoric after attack. You know what, Omar? Are you even American? Like, this is why Trump needs to make a law. And this is another thing. Trump has the Senate. He has the House. He has everything. We delivered him everything. Is Trump going to pass a bill that no foreign-born citizen can hold office in America? Because now is the time to do it. Oh, yeah, I need to take... If you ever think I'm going to be governed by Ilhan Omar, you're out of your effing mind. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Let me see. Brother of man accused of spraying Ilhan Omar says suspect. Yeah, because Somalians, you have Somalians that come to America and they say, we hate America. We can't wait to run this place. But too bad Trump's not going to be alive to see it when we take over. But you're not allowed to dislike them. They can hate you and they can hate your country and they can hate everything about America, but you're not allowed to hate them. And if you do, you're the problem. If you do, you're the racist. Their racism, no big deal. It's not a big deal. Ridiculous. I'm not going to read that, so. Here we go. I'm going to end it with this. More wonderful human beings. Illegal immigrants caught blasting guns on packed highway, shooting at family in road rage attack. Yeah, because this is normal in their country. That's why. A viral video of showing gunmen firing from a Dallas bridge on New Year's has now led to multiple arrests and immigration holds as police say the suspects were involved in repeated acts of gun violence across North Texas. The Dallas Police Department announced their arrest Tuesday, identifying Anthony Acevedo, 20, and Jose Alcron Sanchez, both of Grand Prairie, as two suspects seen in multiple social media videos firing guns from the Margaret McDermott Bridge over Interstate 30 just west of downtown Dallas. The reckless gunfire captured on camera and viewed worldwide, according to police, sparked immediate public outrage and a large-scale investigation. Oh, look at these wonderful illegal citizens. No, they're just here for a better life. During the investigation, detectives learned Alcron Sanchez had been arrested earlier that same morning by the Grand Prairie Police Department for a similar firearms offense on January 1st, 2020. You know what's amazing about this? So this scumbucket gets arrested for firearms offenses, and then he's out pretty much the same day. And here's another thing. Are they buying these guns legally? Because if you're not an American citizen, you're not supposed to be able to purchase weapons. The first question they ask you when you do your NICS background checkup, are you an American citizen? And if you're not supposed to be able to purchase a legal weapon in America. But hey, more Democrat success stories, more Democratic voters. As the case expanded, investigators uncovered evidence linking 25-year-old Anderson Dursey Lara to separate road rage shooting in November. Police said Lara fired multiple rounds into a vehicle carrying 3 adults and 3 children, narrowly missing the victims. With assistance from the ATF, investigators executed a search warrant and recovered multiple firearms, including rifles matching those seen in the viral bridge video, further tying Dursey Lara to both incidents. Acevedo and Alcron Sanchez are charged with discharge of a firearm in certain municipalities, a Class A misdemeanor. Durko Lara faces 6 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a first-degree felony. Of course, Acevedo has been released on bond. You know what? I'm just so sick of this shit. Yeah, great, wonderful human beings. More Democrat success stories. Don't worry. Coming to a town near you, so when they get mad, that somebody went by them in traffic, they're just gonna, pull out a weapon and do what they do. But hey, No big deal. Nothing to see here. I'm sure Democrats will be building statues of them, putting them up everywhere and telling us all to worship it. And when you don't, you're a racist. More senseless violence, but hey. Somebody beeps the horn at you and you open fire with 6 people in a car, 3 kids and 3 adults. Typical. I wouldn't expect anything different. Here we go. We got another wonderful human. Man who nearly beat Chicago train passenger to death walks free with no prison time. Of course, all these liberal judges let them out. A close-up photo from surveillance footage of the suspect later identified as Jesus Martinez. Well, too bad you weren't acting like Jesus, because this doesn't seem very Jesus-like to me. A man accused of nearly beating another passenger to death aboard a Chicago train will not spend any time in prison, according to local reports. According to CWB Chicago, citing court records, 45-year-old Jesus Ramirez will not serve any prison time after he allegedly beat up a passenger on CTA Pink Line train on April 10th, 2024. According to the outlet, he pleaded guilty to aggravated battery on Monday. Ramirez was sentenced to 2 years but received credit for over a year spent on electric monitoring. His term was further halved under Illinois law, which applies to most charges. Yeah, that fat piece of crap, the Presner, whatever his name is, he's probably at McDonald's right now slamming triple cheeseburgers, the fat slob. Pritzker, he's always writing these wonderful laws that allow criminals to go back in the street and sexually assault and murder American citizens. The Chicago Police Department in April asked for the public's assistance after the attack aboard the public train. According to police, Ramirez allegedly approached the CTA passenger, punched the victim in the face. They said he then continued to punch and kick the victim in the face and body. The department said Ramirez and the 37-year-old victim did not know each other when they crossed paths. Authorities said the pair exchanged words and the situation turned physical. The escalation and attack were caught on surveillance video, and the Chicago Police Department released photos of the suspect, later identified as Ramirez. Yeah, it looks like a very nice man. I don't think he'll ever commit another crime again. Interesting take. According to CWB Chicago, the victim spent about a week in a coma and roughly 2 months hospitalized with a scattered brain bleed, traumatic brain injury, broken ribs, a temporal bone fracture, ear damage, and a fractured nasal bone. During an early court appearance, Judge Ankor Servestava said Ramirez nearly beat the victim to death to the CTA. Well, I mean, you're the judge, right? And what did the judge do? Oh, put him back on the street. No big deal. If I'm the judge, I'm not accepting that. So for you to get beat that bad, it's not like somebody punched you and the person fell and then you just walked away. That's what a normal person does. You have an argument, you might have a fight. You hit the guy, you could see he's not too good. You're like, all right, you know what? It's over. I'm going to walk away. That's what a normal person does. But not this guy. What did he do? He tried to kill the man. Repeated punch, kicks, bone bleed. It wasn't good enough that he was already knocked down on the floor. But hey, according to Democrats and liberals, guys like Mr. Ramirez here, they're the real victims. He'll never commit another crime again because he's just coming to America for a better life. And if you have a problem with that, it's on you. There's something wrong with you if you have a problem with Mr. Ramirez trying to kill a train passenger for absolutely no reason. Doesn't know the man from a hole in the wall. They exchange some words. And then Mr. decides, you know what? I'm going to kill the guy. And he doesn't spend 1 day in jail. Pritzker, you fat slob. Pritzker's a fat pig, fat greedy pig, fat slob Pritzker. I wouldn't expect anything less from the Chicago governor. It's just a pig. If you ever looked at the guy, he's going to run for president, that pig. Evil pig. That's what he is. You don't like what I'm saying? Too bad. That's exactly what he is. He's an evil pig. A Virginia nurse fired after TikTok videos allegedly encouraging healthcare workers to drug ICE agents now faces criminal investigation by VCU police. You know what? Here, let's get into her name real fast. Melinda Cook was fired from her job Tuesday evening after a brief investigation by her former employee, VCU Health, a day prior. 3 videos made by Cook and posted to her TikTok were stitched together and shared on X by popular accounts, Libs of TikTok. The result was a viral firestorm that cost Cook her livelihood and has now put her under the microscope of authorities. In one video, she urged other healthcare providers to use a paralytic drug on ICE agents. The video was simply captioned with ICE resistance sabotage. You know what's funny? My ex account will get suspended for good for telling somebody to shut up. She's on there posting video after video about poisoning ICE agents, and her account, X doesn't have a problem with that, and neither does TikTok. I thought of something good, she said. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers grab some syringes with needles on the end, she said. Have them full of saline or salicine, whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Salicylene is an anesthetic that causes rapid short-acting muscle paralysis. The paralytic effect typically lasts 4 to 6 minutes. She's not joking. This piece of garbage she needs to lose her license forever, and she needs to be put in jail for terroristic threats and inciting violence. But hey, what do we have here? We have another Democratic success story. So I wouldn't expect anything different. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thanks for tuning in to Unbreakable with Chris Chamasiros.